So let us just recall what we have done yesterday. We have seen the basic idea of evaluation of integration using the numerical techniques. Integration of a function f using whether if the function explicitly given or the values of the function at some finite number of points called nodal points. If it is known, then we can approximate the integration value with various rules. So the fundamental technique is when we know about the function at finite number of points, we can have some approximating interpolation polynomial called Pn of x of degree less than or equal to n. So instead of evaluating the function f, integral of f, we will evaluate the integral of Pn of x, and since Pn of x is a polynomial, it is easy to evaluate. Is it easy to do the integration? Not very complicated equations will not come. So whatever this integral value is there, we will say that the integral of f, the approximate value for f is nothing. Integral of f is nothing but the integral value of the approximating interpolation polynomial Pn of x. Okay. So for that reason, for our convenience, we have assumed that we will be having a uniform discretization of the domain AB, interval AB, which is nothing but the nodal points are equispaced. So x0, x1, x2, and so on, xn, and so on, b. So with the n plus 1 nodal points, what actually will be having the entire domain from the closed interval A to closed interval B will be divided into n subintervals. With the n plus 1 points, we will be having n subintervals, right? Okay. And the length of each subinterval is fixed, that is represented with h, denoted with h. Okay, so the h is there, h we can also evaluate b minus c upon the number of subintervals. Okay. Now here when we said we are evaluating the integral value of f using the interpolation polynomial. So as we have already seen, there are various interpolation polynomials are there, Lagrange interpolation and Newton's divided difference, backward difference, forward difference interpolation polynomials are there. But for the evaluating integrals, we will use the Lagrange interpolation polynomials. If you recall the Lagrange interpolation polynomials, that is exactly, it will be of the form linear combination of polynomials of degree exactly equal to n, with the coefficients are nothing but the values of the function at the nodal points. Okay. So, and what about this fk of x? We have already evaluated when we are discussing about the Lagrange interpolation polynomials. The coefficient polynomials are called the Lagrange fundamental polynomials. Each of them will be have a degree exactly equal to n, and this is the form of the Lagrange fundamental polynomials, that is fk of x. So the basic idea is to evaluate the integral. So integral of this one is nothing but the the integral of this one is simply nothing but the, actually if you substitute here, what you will get, sum of the integrals of this one, where the small f0, small f1, small fn, they are constant values. So the coefficients will be what? Integral of f0 of x, integral of f1 of x, integral of fn of x. So that is what it is given here. So the integral value is nothing but sum of the, it's a linear combination of finite number of integral values, integrals of the Lagrange fundamental polynomials with the coefficients multiplied by the corresponding function values. Okay. Right. So yeah. So but generally for the Lagrange interpolation polynomial, the nodal points need not be equispaced, but for the concept of evaluating the integrals, we have assumed that the nodal points are equispaced. So with respect, we are using the assumption of uniformly spaced, equispaced nodal points. The fk of x can be explicitly given with this formula, and this is what we have already evaluated in the yesterday's section. So fk of x, what about here k? K is always less than or equal to n. K is less than or equal to n. All right. Okay. Now Now, what about k here? K is always less than or equal to k is always less than or equal to n. 0 is less than or equal to k is less than or equal to n. Okay. So now what will happen? So this is the function here. Of course, it is not actually fk of x. After the transformation x, it will become fk of es. Okay. The variable x is transformed to the another variable s. Transformed to the another variable s. Okay. Now, so yeah, this is the general format. This is what we have evaluated. So obviously, from this one, what will happen to the f1? So what will happen to the f1 of s? F1 of s will be, let it be n may be anything. Let us assume n is bigger than or equal to greater than or equal to 1. F1 of s1 will be what? Minus 1 to the power n minus 1 upon k is 1 here. So 1 factorial times n minus 1 factorial and then s minus 1. Okay. Suppose what is f2 of s? F2 of s is minus 1 to the power n minus 2 upon 2 factorial times n minus 2 factorial times s minus, sorry, it is not 1, it is s minus n only. S minus n only. Okay. S minus n, and then k is equal to 1. K is equal to 1 means minus 1 and minus 1. So that is s minus 2 and so on up to yes. Okay. So that depends on the actually n. Let me write it more clearly. So it starts from s minus n and then s minus n minus 1. It is reducing, right? And so on till again s minus k minus 1 is what? K is equal to 1 we have already considered, right? So k is equal to 1 means s minus 2 and s minus 1 and till yes, up to yes. Okay. So similarly, this is also it is also the same thing. So s minus n times and s minus n minus 1 times up to yes, we need to go. Okay. Now, so similarly, we can proceed on. Now, one of the rule we have discussed yesterday is trapezoidal rule. And what is this trapezoidal rule? The basic trapezoidal, the classical trapezoidal rule assumes the number of nodal points is exactly 2, and that is nothing but the initial point of the interval, and the another one is the end point of the interval. Okay, exactly 2 points, which means that small n is equal to 1. Number of subintervals is only 1. Number of subintervals is only 1. So obviously, what is h? H will be b minus a upon n. So b minus a upon 1. Okay. So then what will happen? The integral value when n is equal to 1, when n is equal to 1, what is the Lagrange interpolation polynomial? Lagrange interpolation. This is the Lagrange interpolation polynomial given by the Lagrange interpolation polynomial. we will be having capital F naught times f naught plus capital F naught of x and capital F1 of x times f1. This is when n is equal to 1. This is the Lagrange interpolation polynomial, right? So because of that reason, we will have lambda naught f naught plus lambda 1 f1. F naught means value of f at a and f1 means value of f at b. So lambda naught and lambda 1 we need to evaluate, and we have evaluated, we got this one. So both in this case, in both the case, we got lambda naught is equal to lambda 1 is equal to b minus a upon 2. B minus a upon 2. Okay. Now, b minus a upon 2. Now, if you keep the substitute lambda naught and lambda 1 here, And if you simplify it, finally, what is the trapezoidal rule we obtain? We obtain it is actually b minus a upon 2 times f at a plus f at b, which is actually nothing but the area of the trapezoid. The area of the trapezoid with the parallel sides length with the lengths f of a and f of b, and the distance between the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides is h, and that h is nothing but b minus a. Okay, so this is the area of the trapezoid with these conditions. Okay, so that is how we have evaluated, and of course I think we have solved one problem also. There is a problem. We have not solved any problem. Yeah, this is the problem we have solved, right? Okay, I think we have not solved any problem. Now let us solve some problems here. Okay. Okay, let us not go for the exercises. We will solve some exercises towards the end of the section. Now let us observe more from this trapezoidal. What actually this trapezoidal rule say? What actually it gives? What is the disadvantage of this fundamental trapezoidal rule? Okay. For example, you simply consider the function is given by, this is the function given to given f of x between the limits a and b, and we need to evaluate the integral from a to b f of x dx. Okay, so basically we need to find the what is the area under this curve above the x-axis and between the lines a and x is equal to a and x is equal to b. Okay, but using the classical trapezoidal rule, what we will say, this is actually b minus a upon approximately equal to b minus a upon 2 times f at a plus f at b. This is what we will say. So what is this one geometrically? Geometrically, this is the area by joining the curve points a comma f of a, b comma f of b, and the points a comma 0, b comma 0. So this is the right. So this is the trapezoid, and this is the approximate value that we will get if we evaluate using the trapezoid. Okay, right? Now, okay, that is fine. But in the, for this particular function where f is very nice function, what we have here, the error of the approximation is very high. Can you see that one? What is the error of the approximation? What is the error of the approximation here in this particular problem? What is the error of the approximation? See this one. This is the error of the approximation. Am I right? So it seems to be very huge, right? Isn't it? It seems to be very huge. Am I right? Not only this one. Suppose if you consider the disadvantage of the classical trapezoidal rule when n is equal to 1. See this one. For this function f of x, this is the area, the shaded area with the red color, that will give you the approximate area. Suppose if you have some another function, and for this, suppose say this is g of x, and for where starting at a and at b, both f and g coincides. For this function also, the trapezoidal rule gives the same area. In this case, the difference is even much higher. The error is too much, right? The error is too much. From the graph, the approximate area is actually looks like something off of the exact area. So to rectify this one, we need to consider what we call the composite trapezoidal rule. Composite trapezoidal rule. So now let me explain that one. What is that composite? Composite. I hope everyone understood what is the disadvantage of the classical trapezoidal rule, where the number of subintervals is actually equal to 1. Okay. So what the classical trapezoidal rule this consider it divides the entire interval. It divides the entire interval. As you can see here, let me explain from the graph and then I will give the statement. Suppose this is here we have divided the entire domain into with only subinterval. We have not divided. Suppose let me consider this point, that is the midpoint. So a plus b by 2. Okay, a plus b by 2. Now let me draw the vertical line here. Let me draw the vertical line here. Okay. Now consider for the function f. Okay. Consider about the for the function f. Now what about this one? If you consider this one, so now a to this point a plus b by 2. Consider this as one interval I1 and consider this as another interval I2. Subintervals. Okay. Now in this interval, this is the initial point and this is the final point. And within this subinterval, apply trapezoidal rule. And again, within this subinterval, apply trapezoidal rule. Is it understood? Okay. Is it clear? We have divided into two subintervals, equal length, so that we will get the nodal points, equispaced nodal points. Okay, fine. Now this is a subinterval. Now consider this interval only alone. In this interval, what is the n is equal to 1 only, and here also n is equal to 1. Apply the trapezoidal rule separately in this interval and at the same time in this interval also. If you apply in the first subinterval, what is the approximate area you will get? What is the approximate area you will get? I think then that time it will be the area of this trapezoid, right? Area of this trapezoid. And in the next subinterval, what is the area that you will get? The approximate area of this trapezoid. Now you look at here. So when we have divided into two, when we have divided the interval into two parts, so how much area we got it here? Earlier, when there is no division, when there is no division of the intervals, we have very huge difference, the error. Now in this case, what will happen? It has covered almost everything. It has covered almost everything. Am I right? Not only for this function f, in fact, the same thing will happen for the g also. See here. If you consider for g, what will be the area in the first subinterval? This trapezoid, and area of from the next one is this trapezoid. So how much it got covered? This part is also got covered. So the only error comes from this place and this place, which is very less comparatively with the previous one. Now what do? You keep on increasing the number of subintervals. If you keep on increasing the number of subintervals, what will happen? Can you see that one? What will happen? This one and this one. Number of trapezoids will increase. Area of the so that area of the each time you increase the number of subintervals, what will happen? The error is reducing. Okay, so this is where we need to. That is what the composite trapezoidal rule says actually. So what is the composite trapezoidal rule? So divide the closed interval a comma b into n subintervals of equal length. So assume that this is a and this is b. N subintervals we need, so we need n plus 1 points. So a is nothing but x0, and then x1, and then x2, and then here x n minus 1, and then it is xn. Okay. So this is the first subinterval I1. This is the second subinterval I2. This is the nth subinterval In. So obviously, in between there will be something called xk minus 1 and xk. So this is the kth subinterval. So 1 is less than or equal to k is less than or equal to n. Right? And what about since because of the equal length, what we'll have? We will have xk is actually equal to xk minus 1 plus h, which is further equal to x0 plus k times h, where h is actually equal to b minus a upon n. B minus a upon n. H is actually equal to b minus a upon n. So that we will get the equispaced nodal points. Okay. Fine. Now what we will do, this is the function now. This is the function. Earlier, this is f of a comma f of a, this is b comma f of b. If you use the only one division, only one subinterval, this is the only area you will get it. So what is the error? This everything is an error. The above this line, this is an error, right? But this time now we have increased the number of subintervals. Now you see this one, how much we are getting closer to the exact area. Okay. So now what we are going to do within this interval, within this subinterval, apply the trapezoidal rule and find the area. What is that area? Let me call it as A1. Let me call it as A2. Let me call it as A3. This is AK and this is AN. Okay. So approximate area AN is given by, again the same formula, right? Half of the length of the interval. So that is x1 minus x0 upon 2 b minus a upon 2 times value of the function, sum of the value of the function at the endpoints of the interval. So that is what are the endpoints for this subinterval? F of x0 comma f of x1. So this is the formula using the trapezoidal rule. This is what? This is A1. Now what is x1 minus x0? X1 minus x0 is fixed, right? That is h. So basically it is h by 2. This is actually h, so h by 2. Now what about A2? A2 is again h by 2 times f at x1 plus f at x2 and so on. Basically what we will get AK will be again half of the length of the interval times sum of the values of the function at the initial and at the end points of the subinterval. Okay. So now what is the area? Area is actually equal to approximate area. This is not the exact area. What is the approximate area? K runs from 1 to n. K runs from 1 to n. AK. So that is actually given by, in all the terms h is there. H by 2, h by 2, h by 2 is there. So that is h by 2 times f at x0 initial point plus. Now you look at this one. What is happening this one? Fx1, f of x1 here it is there, and again here it is there. Fx2 comes here and fx2 comes again here. So what will happen? 2 times f1. Let me write it very shortly. F2 plus and so on fn minus 1 plus fn. Okay. So just to maintain this one. So this is basically f0. Can you see that one? Why for the except the f0 is the value of the function at the initial point. Fn means value of the function at the end point. So finally, within the intermediate points, it comes twice. Why? Because while you are evaluating the A1, this value is considered once f at x1. Okay. And for evaluating A2, again this will be considered, right? So it comes 2 times. This also comes 2 times. This also. Except the this is f0 and fn, they will come only once. So this is what we call the composite trapezoidal rule. This is what we call the composite trapezoidal rule for the evaluation evaluating the integral. Okay. So this is what we call the composite trapezoidal rule, right? So yeah, that's all. So the integral value a to b f of x dx is actually equal to, it means approximately equal to h by 2 times f at x0 plus 2 times f at x1 plus f at x2 plus and so on plus f at x n minus 1 plus f at xn. Okay, right. Now what is now let us do some error analysis also. That is also very important. right? So what is the error analysis? Okay. Now let us see what actually the error term first. What is the error term? So error term is basically given by what? How do we define the trapezoid? What is the order of the? So before going to discuss the error term, let me say what we call the order of the trapezoidal rule. Order of the trapezoidal rule. Or more generally, let me give the what is the order of the rule. Okay, so that rule means trapezoidal rule, and two more rules we are going to discuss. So the definition is same. What is this one means? So an integration rule is said to be of order P if it produces exact result, exact value for all the polynomials of degree less than or equal to P. Of degree less than or equal to P. That is when f of x is equal to either 1 or x or x square or and so on, x to the power p, then what will have the integral value from a to b f of x dx will be exactly equal to the integral from a to b pn of x dx. Generally, we will say we are doing the approximation, right? But we need to find out the degree of up to what degree of polynomials the rule gives the exact value. For example, look at this one. Let f of x is equal to 1. If f of x is equal to 1, what is the integral of f of x from between the limits a to b f of x dx is actually given by, it is b minus a only, right? Okay. Now, what is the approximate error that we will consider for n is equal to 1 case? It is integral a to b. Sorry, it is not this one. Not this one. What is that one? Here it is b minus a upon 2 times f at a plus f at b, that is actually equal to, using the trapezoidal rule. Okay, that is actually equal to, or let me use some table so that you will understand much better. Okay, so let us consider f of x here, and then integral a to b f of x dx here, and this is what? This is the b minus a upon 2. It is the area approximate value of the integration using the trapezoidal rule, classical fundamental trapezoidal rule, n is equal to 1 case. Okay, f at a plus f at b. When f of x is equal to 1, what is the integral value? It is simply b minus a. Now here f of x is equal to 1. That means it is a constant function. Then what we will have here? Constant function means f of a is also 1 and f of b is also 1. 1 plus 1, 2, 2, 2 will get cancelled and b minus c we will get. Can you see this one? It is exactly equal to the integral value is exactly equal to this value we're using the trapezoidal. Now take the function f of x is equal to x. What is the integral? X square by 2. Substitute the limits b square minus a square by 2. So 1 by 2 times b square minus a square. Now evaluate this one. B minus a by 2. F of a. F of x is equal to x. So f of a means a only. F of b means b only. So b plus a into b minus a. So that is b square minus a square by 2. See this one, it is also exactly equal. There is no error. Let us evaluate for x square. For x square, what is the integration? X cube by 3. Substitute the limits b cube minus a cube. So 1 by 3 times b cube minus a cube. Right. Now what about the using the method? Using the method, if you see it, it is b minus a by 2 times f at a means a square plus b square. Now, can you see this one? They are not equal in general. In general, they are not equal, right? So, up to what order, up to what degree of polynomials the trapezoidal rule is giving the exact results? Up to 1, up to the order x to the power 1, right? So, order of the trapezoidal rule is therefore order of the trapezoidal rule is 1. Order of the trapezoidal rule is 1. Okay, that is fine. Now, what is the error? What is the error? Now, what is the error? So, error is generally given by here represented with r suffix n of the function f at x. Okay. N is equal to 1 in the trapezoidal rule and the classical trapezoidal rule, n is equal to 1 only, right? So, which is equal to c upon p plus 1 factorial times f to the power. So, here it is equal to p, right? F to the p plus 1th order derivative of f at some point z. So this is the error. Okay, generally what is the error? Error is actually given by the c is equal to integral a to b, where c can be calculated using the x to the power p plus 1 times dx minus summation k runs from 0 to n lambda k to the power xk to the power p plus 1. Okay, so this is actually nothing but what is the c here for p plus 1? For p plus 1 means this is the this is what we will get it here. Okay, for this case, so it is the exact value, and for this case here, what we will get here, exact value is 1/3 b cube minus a cube, 1/3 b cube minus a cube minus what is this one? B minus a by 2, b minus a by 2 times a square plus b square. B minus a by 2 times a square plus b square. So if you simplify this one, you know that, right? B cube minus a cube can be written as b minus a times b square minus ab minus a square b minus ab and plus a square. Okay, so you can use that formula. You can use that formula, and finally what you will get, this value is minus 1/6 times b minus a whole cube. This is what we will get it if you simplify it. Okay. So this is C. This is C. So the error for trapezoidal rule is given by n is equal to 1 only for this one, f at x, the modulus is equal to the modulus of C upon P plus 1 factorial. Here trapezoidal rule order is P is equal to 1. So P plus 1 means 2 factorial times the modulus of P plus 1 derivative of f at z. Okay. So which is given by, what is modulus of C? 1 upon 6 times b minus a cube. That is b minus a whole cube upon 12 times max. It is always less than or equal to. We will be in the domain, right? A is less than or equal to, Z is less than or equal to B. So the maximum of modulus of P plus 1th derivative of f than or equal to B. So this is the maximum error that will be possible using the trapezoidal rule. And at the same time, if you apply the same thing, error for the component, and the next one, error for the composite trapezoidal rule. Error for the composite trapezoidal rule. You should understand here, in the composite trapezoidal rule, we are using exactly the trapezoidal rule only, but in n subintervals we are doing it. So what will happen here in the composite trapezoidal rules? F of x will be less than or equal to b minus a cube upon 12 times or let me write this one and then we will use the modulus. Which will be equal to minus, not minus, C upon P plus 1 factorial times P plus 1 derivative of f at xi1. Why? Because we have divided into n subintervals, right? x0 to x1. So within this interval, what is the error? C upon P plus 1 factorial times P plus 1 derivative of f at xi1, where xi1 will be somewhere in this subinterval, plus P plus 1 order derivative of f at P plus 1 order at some xi2. So xi2 will be in the second subinterval, and so on, plus P plus 1 derivative of f at xn, where xn will be belongs to the final last subinterval. Okay. We are applying the trapezoidal rule only, but we are applying in this interval separately and in this interval separately. Now with this one, what will happen? The model, if you consider the modulus is less than or equal to, that is why we are still use here 1 only. That is why here we still use 1 only. Okay. Do not think that here we are using the number of points here. We have divided into the number of subintervals. Even though we have divided the number of subintervals, we are applying the trapezoidal rule for each subinterval. So in this subinterval, that is n is equal to 1. N is equal to 2 case, that will comes the another rule that we will discuss tomorrow. Again here modulus of C, that is fixed. So that is b minus a whole cube upon 6. So that will be 12 only. So the modulus of modulus of p plus 1th derivative of f at xi1. Let me write it here. So xi is basically is less than or equal to xi, greater than or equal to xi minus 1, belongs to the ia subinterval. I runs from 1 to 1 on plus modulus of t plus 1th derivative of f at xi2 plus one plus modulus of t plus 1th derivative of f at xi. Okay. So which is further less than or equal to how many will be there? N. Suppose if this one is also replaced with the maximum, this one is also if you replace with the maximum, this one also if you replace with the maximum, how many terms will be there? Yeah, for each subinterval we will get one term. So there are n subintervals are there. So that is b minus a whole cube upon 12 into number of subintervals, that is capital. Let me represent with the capital N. That is actually small n. Here, a number of intervals we have already divided, right? So that is times the maximum of modulus of derivative of p plus 1 x, where a is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to b. So this is the maximum error possible when we consider the composite trapezoidal rule. Okay. Now, with the help of this one, we can also find out how many subintervals are required to get some error tolerance. That problems we will do it. Okay. I hope so far everything is clear. If it is clear, then we will solve one problem at least today. Or anyone have doubts? Anyone have doubts? Okay then. Now let us solve one problem. Evaluate integral 0 to 1 upon 3 plus 2x dx. 3 plus 2x dx. Okay. This is first problem. First one. Capital N is equal to 1. Capital N is equal to 2. Capital N is equal to 4. And the second one, find the number of subintervals. Find the number of subintervals required if the error is to be less than maybe some 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay. Okay, fine. So let us quickly do this one. What is the function given to us? Function given to us is this is f of x. Interval a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1. First one, n is equal to 1 case only. So when n is equal to 1 means no partition we have made. Okay. So n is equal to 1, a is equal to 0, that is nothing but x1, and b is equal to 1, that is nothing but x1. Right. So the integral from 0 to 1 upon 3 plus 2x dx is basically equal to b minus a by 2. So that is 1 by 2 times f at a. What is f at a? This is f. F at a means 1 by 3 plus f at b means 1 by 5. That's all. This is the area. using n is equal to 1, the classical trapezoidal. I'm going little fast because time is almost getting over. Okay, but you can see this is very direct. N is equal to 2. N is equal to 2 means number of subintervals. How many subintervals are there? 2 subintervals. 2 subinterval means subintervals of equal length. So obviously, what is the point? It has to be a plus b by 2. So this is now this time it is x0, and this will become x1 now, and this is x2, nothing but 1. Okay. In this case, a plus b by 2 is nothing but 1 by 2. What is the integral value? What is the integral value? It is h by 2 times initial point f at a plus 2 times the intermediate points plus f at the final point. How many intermediate points are there? Only one, right? So that is f at a plus b by 2. H is 1. Sorry. What is the h now? What is the h? H is equal to b minus a upon n. So that is 1 by 2. Okay. H is already 1 by 2. So h by 2 means 1 by 4 times f at a, that is 1 by 3 plus 2 times f at b. So f at 1 by 2. What is f? 1 upon 3 plus 2x. X is equal to 1 by 2. 2 will get cancelled. 1. So 1 by 4 you will get. Plus f at b means again 1 by 5. So that's all. I'm not going to solve it. You can evaluate on your own. And similarly, for the case n is equal to 4, how many subintervals? 4 subintervals. 0, 1. We need 4 subintervals. So what are the points? Obviously, you can decide the points. So h is equal to b minus a upon n. So that is 1 upon 4. This is h. So this is x0. What is x1? x0 plus h, 1 by 4. What is x2? x1 plus h, 1 by 2. This is x3. What is x3? x2 plus h. So that is 3 by 4. Right? Now what is the integral value? Integral 0 to 1. Fx dx is equal to h by 2. So 1 by 4 upon 2 times f at 0, that is 1 by 3 plus 2 times intermediate points plus f at b. So that is 1 by 5. So value of f at the intermediate points x1, x2 and x3. 3 points are there, right? So what is the value? Value of what is the function? 1 by 3 plus 2x. At x is equal to 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 2, 1 by 2, 2 will be in the numerator upon 7. Right. X is equal to 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 2 will get cancelled. So 1 by 4 plus x is equal to 3 by 4, 3 by 4, 2 will be there. 2, 3, 6 plus 9. So 2 by 9. So this is the approximate value. Okay. Now there is another question where how many number of intervals are required? How many number of intervals are required? One thing you can also find the error directly. You can evaluate basically 0 to 1, 1 upon 3 plus 2x. You can directly evaluate. What is this one? Log of modulus of 3 plus 2x. Coefficient is 1 by 2 between the limits 0 to 1. So that is given by 1 by 2 times log of 5 minus log 3. So 1 by 2 times log of 5 by 3. This is the exact value. This is the exact area integral value. But what we have done previously? Previously we have done the approximate integral values by increasing the number of subintervals. Okay, as you can see, this value will be little far from this value, exact value. When n is equal to 2, this will be little closer, and n is equal to 4, this value will be even further closer to this exact value. It will be definitely, no doubt. Okay. So now in the third one, we need to answer, find the number of subintervals required for the error to be less than this one. Okay. number of subintervals required. Number of subintervals required. So what is the maximum error possible? So this is the maximum error possible. We want this error to be less than some error. It is given 3 times 10 to the power minus 3. So the maximum error possible is b minus a whole cube upon 12 times number of subintervals into the maximum of. We are using the trapezoidal rule. Trapezoidal rule means p is order is p is equal to 1. So here second order derivative of z. So 0 is less than or equal to z is less than or equal to. This is less than or equal to epsilon, and epsilon is given to be 3 into 10 to the power minus 4. Am I right? Oh, 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 only. 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 only. Okay. Now, what we do not know in this one, n we want to obtain. This is what we want to find. B is known. B is 1, A is 0. So 1 cube. So it is 1 upon 12 only. Times n we want to find out. What we do not know, we need to evaluate this maximum of the second derivative. What is the second derivative of f? F of x is equal to 1 upon 3 plus 2x. Derivative of f is equal to, what is the derivative? Minus 1 upon 3 plus 2x square times 2. And what is the further derivative? Further derivative is minus 2 minus 2. So that is 4 upon 3 plus 2x times cube times again 2. So this is 8. Now what is the maximum of modulus? It is already a positive function, second order derivative of f of x when x is lies between 0 and x is less than or equal to 1 is maximum of 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 1, 8 upon 3 plus 2x times whole cube. We want to find the maximum. When this will be maximum? When the denominator is minimum. When is the denominator is minimum? You can easily see x is equal to 0, 0, 3 cube, 27. So that is 8 by 27. This is 8 by 27. Okay. In the previous semesters, we have it already how to evaluate the maximum, right? So it is exactly the same thing. You need to do it, but you can with some logic also you can do it. No problem. So maximum is 8 upon 27. So that is n times 8 upon 27 is less than 3 times 10 to the power minus 3. Now solve for here. That's all. That is how you need to find out the number of intervals. Okay, so I will stop the section here. If you have any doubts, you are most welcome to ask. Thank you all.